Grimaces of the Real, or When the Phallus Appears, looks at famous monsters from popular culture like the Phantom of the Opera, the Elephant Man, and the screaming figure in the Edvard Munch's painting, The Scream. Zizek uses these monsters to explain deep ideas from psychoanalysis about fear, desire, and what is real. He mostly follows the ideas of Lacan. The first monster is the Phantom of the Opera. His face is horrifying for four reasons. First, his eyes look like empty black holes. Second, he has no nose. This missing nose is like the idea of castration in psychoanalysis, the fear that something important is missing. Third, his face is distorted and shapeless, like melted flesh. This is not a dead face, it is a face that is too alive. It shows a raw, living substance that exists before our normal, everyday reality. Fourth, the phantom is mostly a voice. He is a voice without a body. The acousmatic voice comes from nowhere and it is everywhere. Zizek then talks about the scream. In this painting, the person is screaming, but we cannot hear the scream. The scream is silent. The horror comes from the fact that the scream is stuck in the throat. It cannot get out. This silent scream is more terrifying than a loud scream. The painting shows the person's body twisting and the whole world becoming wavy and distorted. This distortion is the effect of enjoyment, what Lacan calls jouissance, breaking into normal reality. The painting shows a person who is too close to the object of their own desire. They are panicking because they might be swallowed by this terrible, horrible, fascinating thing. The spiral lines in the painting are like a giant ear or eye that hears and sees everything. This is the real, a hard, painful kernel that normal reality tries to hide. What is this monster or this horrible scream? It is not an outside enemy, it is something inside us. The monster is our own double. It is a part of ourselves that is more than ourselves. This double is not just our reflection in the mirror. Our reflection in the mirror is calm and whole, but the double is the strange missing part that the mirror cannot show. The missing part is the object called small a in Lacan's work. It is the cause of our desire. The double appears when we see ourselves as an object. That experience is terrifying because it reduces us to a pure, powerless gaze. Zizek makes an important difference between two kinds of fathers. The first is the symbolic father. This is the father as a name or a law. This father is dead. He does not enjoy life. He just makes rules. The second father is the anal father. This father is alive, obscene, and he enjoys himself too much. He is a little disgusting figure who gets in the way. This anal father is the real monster. He blocks normal relationships. People think this monster is the problem. They think if we could just kill the monster or get rid of him, then we could have a perfect relationship. But Zizek says this is an illusion. The monster is not the obstacle to a perfect relationship. The monster is what fills the hole where a perfect relationship does not exist. The perfect relationship is impossible from the start. The monster just makes this failure visible. In the same way, anti-Semites think the Jew is the obstacle to a perfect society, but the Jew is just the anal object that fills the gap of society's own impossibility. The article then talks about Kaspar Hauser, a real historical figure. He was a young man who appeared in a German town in 1828. He had lived alone in a dark cell for his whole life. He could barely speak. He moved like a doll. People saw him as a monster or a scientific curiosity. But Zizek says Kaspar Hauser is the pure subject of the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment wanted to strip away all culture and tradition to find the natural human side. But when they did that, they did not find a nice, innocent child. They found a monster without an ego, without a personality, without a mirror image. This empty, horrifying void is the real subject. The subject is not a person. The subject is the nothingness left over when you remove everything solid. This connects to the philosopher Kant. Kant said we can never know the thing in itself. There is always black hole in reality. We cannot see what is really there. This black hole is empty, but we try to fill it with fantasies and monsters. The monster is the thing in itself appearing in our world as a horrible distortion. The monster is the subject himself seen as a thing. The subject is a void. The monster is that void made visible. Finally, Zizek connects this to modern capitalism. Capitalism destroys all old stable traditions. It creates a world of constant change and imbalance. Monsters appear every time capitalism enters a new phase. Frankenstein appeared with early industry. The Phantom of the Opera and the Elephant Man appeared with imperialism. Zombie movies appear with post industrial society. These monsters are the grimaces of the real. They are the distortions on the face of reality. They show where enjoyment gets stuck. Something beautiful can also become disgusting depending on your angle. If you change your perspective, a sublime face can turn into a horrible stain. The goal of critical theory is to look at our own beliefs from a foreign outside gaze. Then the familiar monsters of our own ideology will lose their power and just look like ugly, disgusting bumps. That is the moment when we see the real.